Inside, we're all here for one hell of a ride. Triceratops from CCDD, reporting on the month in Roaring Derby. Terror in the dollhouse, terror in the
dollhouse. Hi, I'm Triceratops of Coventry City Derby Dolls, and welcome to Terror in the Dollhouse. Each month there'll be features on a range of derby topics such as equipment, advice, training and bouts, as well as suggestions of helpful websites and info on NSO and refereeing roles, and a chance to get to know our dolls better. In this show we're going to be talking about the importance of off-skates training, talk about our website of the month, interview our spotlight skater to get to know our dolls better, talk about the advice we wish we'd had when we were new skaters, talk to our head ref for Ref Says, and our head NSO for NSO advice, and talk about local events. And now for our first feature on off-skates training. What would you say are the most important skills you need to be an awesome derby skater? Speed? Endurance? Good skating stance? Strength? Agility? Balance? Quick recovery between jams? These are all skills that skating practice will give you, but off-skates training is just as important for developing your skating skills as skating is itself. If you're a jammer, you need to be able to be the quickest off the mark when the whistle blows, and that needs explosive power in your leg muscles. If you play as a blocker, you need strong thigh muscles to plough in and stop that jammer getting past when you're in her way. Whichever position you play in, you need the ability to move and react very quickly. Within a bout, and even within a jam itself, we have a repetition of really fast movements, stops, lateral movements. We need to be able to sprint out, react quickly and repeat those over and over again in a short time in a jam. Sometimes you only have 30 seconds to recover before you're on track again. Of course, attending skating practice is important to help you build actual skating skills and muscle memory. But without a good level of fitness, perhaps there's a limit to how far you can progress. I caught up with one of our rookies, Kate, to talk about how she feels that her overall fitness and her off-skates work has affected her derby training. So, what's your name and how long have you been skating?
Okay, my name's Kate and I've been skating around 4 or 5 months.
So, tell me a bit about what your fitness was like before you started roller derby.
I pretty much did nothing and haven't done for about the past 10 years. I maybe used to go out and play football and again, but that was literally all a bit of a couch potato really.
So what kind of impact did this have when you first started skating?
I couldn't have 5 minutes solid like everyone else could. I really didn't have the endurance to keep going for most of the session. I'd sort of get really tired. I'd get real muscle aches as well, especially like the next morning and things. I'd be really, really tired, my muscles would hurt, and that's slowly starting to change.
Good. So what kind of off-skates training have you been doing?
I've been trying to do a lot more walking, just basic things like that, just to make myself a bit more fit. I've been doing the 30-day shred, which I know a lot of girls do. That's been really good, maybe not every day, but just now and again. I try and do about 5 or 10 minutes of sit-ups, press-ups, planking, and sort of crunches and things every morning now.
That's pretty impressive. So what kind of impact have you found that this has made in your skating?
My endurance is much better. I can actually keep up, I can go for whole sessions, and I've actually started losing a bit of weight now as well, so that's going to help me.
Excellent. So why do you think off-skates training is so important?
I think especially for me starting, having no fitness, and when you kind of start we only get 1 couple of hour session a week, which really isn't enough to bring your fitness up to where it needs to be. I think to get better and just achieve what you can achieve, you need to do some off-skates fitness as well.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Kate. I think we can all agree that using off-skates training to build up your stamina and your cardiovascular fitness is really important. But what if you're already pretty fit? What's the importance of off-skates training then? I've just bumped into Fee 1000 in the gym and asked if I could ask her a couple of questions about how she finds her gym bunny nature helps with her derby. So when you first started with Coventry City Derby Dolls, what was your fitness like?
Quite good, I think. I was an active member of gym already, so probably attending 5-6 times a week, doing various different classes, both strength and cardio.
That's pretty impressive. So how do you find that this has impacted on your skating ability?
Well, I think it's made some of the stuff easier in the sense of having that fitness level there already. I can let myself concentrate more on the skills technique and getting that right in that sense. So for example, like endurance of playing a bar, scrimming, you know, you've got that sort of, okay, it's 2 minutes and then I know I'm going to get a rest, so just go for it. And things like doing your min skills, so the laps, for example, that pure concentration on technique, on skating the diamond, and that kind of thing, rather than having to build that cardio and breathing side of things up.
So what kind of training do you find most helpful now that you skate so frequently?
I think cardio classes, so things like combat attack, and then obviously spinning because it's very leg based, but then also strength training things to build up the actual muscle underneath, so things like body pump. And then I think things that are sort of short bursts of energy, so interval training, plyometrics, that kind of thing, it helps with the sort of style of roller derby. The other thing that's really useful, I think, is in terms of balance, because obviously we're balancing on skates, is keeping that core strength up.
So how do you find the time to fit in training and going to the gym around any other commitments?
I just make the time. I pre-book my classes, so I kind of feel like in my head, that's it, you're there already. Gives you that mental strength to actually go and attend. And you know, yeah, I do sometimes not go because I've got, you know, other things on, but I might do an extra class another night to make up for it. So I just make it part of my life.
Okay, well thank you very much. I'll let you get back to the gym. Cheers. So hopefully by now we're all singing from the same hymn sheet, and we all know that off-skates training is important. But the next difficulty is, what should we be doing? And this leads me nicely on to our website of the month, and this episode it's rollerderbyathletics.com. I absolutely love this website. There's loads and loads of really helpful advice as to exercises that you can do to help with roller derby. It's a really roller derby specific exercise website with fantastic YouTube videos, so you can see exactly what you're meant to be doing rather than try and interpret someone's explanations of things you still don't quite get. Another thing I like about it is the amount of the exercises that you can do at home in quite a short amount of time. We're all busy people, we've all got jobs on top of derby training, on top of potentially childcare, and you know, life gets in the way sometimes. So if you can come up with an exercise program that's 15 minutes that can help you out and help you with roller derby, then why not? It's a fantastic website and I suggest you check it out. www.rollerderbyathletics.com. Our next regular feature is Spotlight Skater. Each month we're going to interview a different skater to let you find out what derby means to them, how they started skating, and lots more things. So this month's Spotlight Skater is me, Triceratops, so you can get to know your host better.
Name.
Triceratops.
Number.
39.
Why did you choose your name and number?
Triceratopses are herd animals, and together they'll take on even the biggest dinosaur, which I think is a bit like me. Small but powerful in a group.
How did you get into roller derby?
I've been to see London Roller Girls skate a good few times over the last couple of years, and it's something I've always thought was amazing and really wanted to get involved in. And then last summer I got talking to Fee 1000 from CCDD in the gym, and she mentioned that she was off to derby training, and I pretty much just screamed to her, "Oh my god, I really love it, I want to join up!" And so she pointed out the Facebook page, and it all went from there. I got into newbie intake in September, and the rest was history.
What is your best roller derby memory?
My best roller derby memory is being chosen for CCDD's first ever bout team.
What's your favorite thing about Derby?
My favourite thing about roller derby is the solidarity between skaters. I love what an amazing community is and how supportive everyone is of each other.
Who is your Derby crush?
Shaolin Scarlett from the London Roller Girls is just a phenomenal blocker. Just the way that it seems like she hardly moves. Someone she hits goes flying. I think that's amazing.
What would be your dream purchase?
Fonts would be nice, but if it's a dream purchase, a warehouse with a permanent flat track that I could skate on all day every day would be a dream.
What are your skating goals?
Really good sideways skating. I'm getting there, but long way to go.
What is your day job, and how does this help you on track?
I'm a teacher, and I think having eyes in the back of your head and knowing where everyone is all at the same time is really helpful for pivoting, which is what I really like to do on the track.
What is the best piece of advice you have been given?
If you're not falling over, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. That was definitely true when learning to do derby stops. The more I practiced, the harder I tried, the more I fell over, particularly when trying to do it going quickly. But falling over helped me be able to do it properly, so it's good advice. When I think about my time in Derby, I think about the kind of things that I know now that I wish I'd known when I started, and all the advice that maybe I give myself if I could go back in time and speak to Nikki before she became Terra. I think the biggest thing I would tell myself is to not give myself such a hard time. No one's expecting you to pick things up straight away, and there's nothing wrong with not getting things straight away. But beating yourself up constantly because you can't do that new skill or you can't quite derby stop like everyone else isn't helpful. It's important to look back on what you have achieved. I've been around asking other members of my league and also skaters from other leagues about what advice they wish they'd given themselves or someone had given them when they first started skating.
I'm Captain Farrell, and the advice that I wish someone had given me when I started skating was get the best kit you can get. Skates, helmet, pads, everything. Small knee pads equals hurt knees in my personal experience. And once you love it, you'll love it, and you'll make all your friends love it, so you may as well just get them involved from the off, otherwise they're going to get sick of you talking about it.
Hi, I'm Nina's Flytrap. The advice I wish I'd gotten was when you're skating forward, really use your feet and push outwards when you're going forwards. It increases the momentum and speed without as much effort.
Hi, I'm Killer Rockingbird, and the little bit of advice that I'd like to give to new skaters that I wish had been drilled into my tiny mind when I first started would be to really study the rules and learn them, not just the basics, the whole rules. Go online, download the rule book, put it in a little folder, and that can be your roller derby Bible. Keep it next to your bed and look at it every night and just learn them all. And if you've got any questions, just ask a referee or any of the skaters and they'll be able to help you.
Hi, I'm Sky Bruce, and the advice I wish somebody had given me when I first started skating was to do not skimp on pads. And if you're going to buy pads, elbow pads, wrist guards, knee pads, then just buy the best ones that you can, because you'll soon have to replace them.
I'm the philosopher from Born Bombshells. I wish the thing that I knew when I started was that being a good skater doesn't mean you'll be any good at derby at all. I've been skating for years and years, and I thought I'd be a natural derby player, and it turns out that I wasn't very good. And I think I was cocky and I didn't try hard enough because I was relying on my skating ability. And if I'd known that derby and skating are two separate things, I think I would have tried a lot harder, gone to more practices, put in more effort, rather than just relying on the fact that I could skate.
Hi, I'm Tubbs. I used to skate with Central City Roller Girls, but I'm no longer a roller derby girl. When I started derby, I wish somebody had told me to buy decent skates straight away, because I wasted money on disco skates and then had to buy some Rydell's pretty much straight away. So I really wish I'd bought decent skates in the first place. It would have saved me some money. And also, I wish I'd been told not to be scared to hit your teammates because they don't mind. I was too scared to hit anybody, and it took me a really long time to get my hits sort of in the right place because I was too scared to do it, because I thought people would take it funny if I hit them and they foul. So I really wish somebody had told me that to begin with.
I'm Scott John DeRocks from Crash Test Brummies and head coach of Coventry City Derby Dolls. My advice to potential new skaters would be to put in as much effort as you possibly can. You're only going to get out of Derby what you put into it, so if you put in loads of effort you'll get loads back, and it's really worth the time and the effort to do it.
Loads of really good advice there, and lots of things that I think are helpful both for newbies and people who have been skating for a while. Certainly some of that advice I think I still need. And next we come to our rules section of Terror in the Dollhouse with our head ref Andy Psychotic.
Ref says! Hi, I'm Andy Psychotic. I'm head ref for CCDD, and I'd like to chat to you around what the ref crew does and why it's important, and then go through a rule of the month. Something we've discussed as refs, or something which has come through the grapevine of WUFTA with a clarification or a new rule. So first of all, I'm Andy Psychotic, head ref. We have at the moment a small ref crew. We work together with the girls at CCDD to train them up with regards to the rules of Derby, make sure they're clean and they can use the rules to their advantage. Rule of the month! And moving on to rule of the month, we've just had a very recent clarification with regards to a no pack situation with blocking. Previously we discussed it on our ref forums amongst Midlands refs, because when there is a no pack formation, we look at blocking and how that impacts on the game. Now there were some complications on, generally we call people on a failure to reform, but that can only happen to certain people on a certain position on the track. So if people are blocking and not in the set position, we couldn't call them for a failure to reform. So they'll get away with doing a penalty by engaging a jammer, for argument's sake, when they shouldn't be. So what we were looking at is still a major out of play block, because it had a measured impact on the game immediately because they're denying points for the jammer. WUFTA have now come back with a clarification on how they'd like us to treat this rule. Now, as long as the pack is reformed immediately, any blocking can carry on without any problems. If the pack is not reformed immediately, we now issue the failure to reform to the actively engaging blockers. So instead of having it as either the foremost pack skater of the rear pack of skaters or the rearmost pack skater of the foremost pack of skaters, we now issue the failure to reform against the blockers first. If no one is blocking anyone, we treat it as normal, so rear or foremost skater in accordance to the current rules. However, if people are engaging jammers, we immediately call them on a failure to reform first. Say for argument's sake there's two blockers engaging the jammers, we will call one failure to reform on one of the blockers, we'll call another failure to reform if it's still unformed on the second blocker. If it's still unformed, we then revert back to old rules of fore or rearmost skater. So it's a great clarification for us. We don't have to worry about different penalties and calling it in different ways, and WUFTA have kindly explained to us how they want us to call it, made it a lot more easier for us, especially if the pack's reformed immediately. You can carry on engaging, it makes the game a lot more fluid and speedy. But if they're not reforming, we know who to penalise and how. So that's something which is going to be tactically advantageous to everyone who knows that rule, and it gives us as refs a clarification on how we can call it and still look professional doing our job. So that's it for Rule of the Month, and I look forward to speaking to you soon.
Hi, I'm Caroline aka Brownie Points, and I am CCDD's head NSO. NSOing stands for Non-Skating Official, and they're the people that do all the important jobs while we're having a bout or a scrim around the side, such as penalty tracking, score tracking and penalty timing. So I'm in charge of organising all the NSOs for the bouts. Every month we'll be bringing you a different NSO role, and this month is the role of penalty timer. The penalty timer works in the sin bin, timing the penalties when the girls have to go in there for being naughty. Every month we'll be giving you the 3 top tips for our chosen role. This month my top tips for being a penalty timer are: number 1, read upon the finer details of your role. Your head NSO should be able to give you more information. If you're unsure about any aspect of the role, make sure your head NSO or your penalty box manager fills you in. My second top tip is to make sure you don't take any insubordination or cheek from any of the girls in the penalty box. Make sure to tell your head ref if the girls are messing around. My third top tip would be that if you're using an app to time penalties with, make sure you practice with the app at home. And if you're using a stopwatch, make sure you practice with it and make sure there's adequate battery left in the stopwatch. Every month I'm going to bring you the secrets, the things that go on behind the roll. So this month we've got the secrets of the penalty box. During our last closed bout, our CCDD penalty box manager Juliet attached a bag of Haribo to the wall using gaffer tape, which was a great incentive for the girls. Well, the girls working in the penalty box anyway.
Local events. And here are the local teams who are bouting in the next month. On the 1st of June, there's Northern Survival Tournament happening in Oldham, Manchester. On the 8th of June, it's Heartlands West, which is Oxford Roller Derby versus Milton Keynes Concrete Cows, and Wiltshire Roller Derby versus Severn Roller Torrent, and that's happening in Swindon. On the 15th of June is the Heartlands East, which is Hertfordshire's Hells Bells versus Mean Valley Roller Girls, and Bedford Roller Girls versus Rebellion Roller Derby, and that's happening in Bedford. Also on the same day, the 15th of June, CCR are playing Hot Wheel Roller Derby at home in Perry Bar in Birmingham. On the 22nd of June, Big Bucks High Rollers are playing the Hellfire Harlots in High Wycombe. Also on the 29th of June, CCR's B team, the Sleigh Bells, are playing Newcastle Roller Girls A team Canny Belters in a double header with Bruising Banditas versus the Newcastle Roller Girls B team Whipping Heinies, and that's happening in Newcastle. So best of luck to all the dolls and dudes who are bouting in the next month. And finally, since starting roller derby, I've been inundated with lots of silly comments and questions about what I do. So here's a few of my favourites to finish us off.
How's that rollerblading going?
Is it like whip it? You're not very good. You keep falling over.
Are there even any rules?
Where's the ball?
It's all fate though, right?
But you can't be good. You're so small.
What is roller derby?
So that's it for this month's Terror in the Dollhouse. If you'd like to comment on anything we've discussed today, or tell me what advice you wish you'd been given when you were a new skater, then please email me on terrorinthedollhouse@gmail.com or find us at www.facebook.com/Coventry City Derby Dolls or on Twitter @Coventry City Derby Doll. In episode 2, we'll be giving advice as to how to choose your roller derby name, discussing the recent trend for roller girls to skate under their own names, as well as talking about the change of minimum skills from 2010 to 2013. And of course we'll revisit Ref Says, NSO Advice, Spotlight Skater and Website of the Month. Many thanks go to all the people who helped make this podcast possible, and thanks to you for listening. Until next month!
Terror in the Dollhouse.